of David Gergen and Tara Wall of the Washington Times. So, David, in an interview with NBC tonight, Palin was asked if she would release her medical records. I just want to play her response for our viewers.
The medical records, so be it. If that will allow some curiosity seekers perhaps to have one more thing that they can either check the box off that they can find something to criticize perhaps, or find something to rest them assured over, fine. I'm healthy, happy, had 5 kids. That's going to be in the medical records. Never been seriously ill or hurt. You'll see that in the medical records if they're released.
It seemed like in the beginning it said she would release, and then at the end she said if they're released. I'm not sure if there's really any significance in that, but it does just sort of invite, I guess, more scrutiny. But if she doesn't release them, then she's the only one who hasn't, or released some form of medical record.
You know, Anderson, on Friday when she takes a deposition, release the records, get all this out of the way, and get the campaign back to the economy and get the focus back on John McCain. I do not think it's helpful at all for the Republicans to have these continuing stories about Sarah Palin. She's energized the base, as Babe Buchanan has told us on several occasions. She needs now to get off television, basically, on national television, and keep the focus on her running mate, who is the leading running mate, and on the economy. And because this is not over. I'm here in Pennsylvania, Anderson, and I can tell you that folks here have been telling me here in Philadelphia, the Democrats, that while Barack Obama has a 10 or 11 point lead in the polls, there is a widespread feeling that it's much closer than that, and it's going to be very close on Election Day, and Governor Rendell very much wants Barack Obama to come back here to campaign. So this is not over, but if they get into all these continuing distractions, I don't see how the Republicans have, much that they're fighting with.
Joe, if the polls are so far apart, how then are people saying on the ground that it's going to be closer?
Well, there are reports that even Obama's private polls have Pennsylvania closer than the public polls. I don't know how that works, but I do know that I think that David is absolutely right. I mean, remember, once again, the stock market went down another 500 points today. This is an absolutely crucial issue. What Ali Velshi was just showing about the numbers of layoffs in this country, in this year, as opposed to any other, we should be talking about that stuff, not about her medical. I don't care about her medical records.
Tara, though, I mean, if McCain is only talking about the economy, I mean, is that enough, or does he? I mean, we've had other people on the program who say, look, he has to attack the character of Barack Obama to sow doubts in people's minds.
Well, there can be a question about attacking someone's character as opposed to someone's judgment. I think there's a distinct difference. You go after someone's judgment as opposed to character. I think that's not the only thing. I mean, the negativity, I think, has probably turned off some independent voters. He has to widen the scope, though. I mean, of course, the economy matters to most Americans, but we're also seeing some of these polling. These polls are just back and forth all over the place. Even today, the AP poll out showed Barack Obama with just a 1 percentage point lead over McCain. So I think you're going to see a tightening up in some spots. I think that when you look at the issues and you poll individuals about what they're concerned about, there are still, they still believe that McCain, the majority believe that McCain leads on national security issues, that he is more presidential. So I think issues like that, issues that matter beyond just the scope of the economy, are those things that he's got to continue to hit home on. When he talks about inexperience and readiness to lead in those types of things, I think those resonate not just with the base, but even some of those independents and undecideds that are still on the fence.
Yeah, Anderson, I do think you have to say for Barack Obama today, two things. One is a lot of these polls do show that he has erased most of John McCain's lead on national security, and I think the debates he helped himself a great deal with that and with the Colin Powell endorsement. But the other thing I thought he did today, which was smart, was to call in those national security advisors. The last 2 days, he has surrounded himself with some really strong, reliable people that the country would say, if he gets elected, those kind of people are going to be around him. He's going to be the government's going to be in good hands. Always a pivotal question for a president. So, while McCain is struggling, I have to say, Obama is managing to look increasingly presidential. I don't know what Joe Klein thinks about that.
Joe, I do. Sense of it. 2 points from the interview I did with him. Number one, he endorses David Petraeus at CENTCOM. He wants Petraeus to continue on there and says he's been doing a good job. On the economy, he said something really, really interesting and kind of candid. He said that we've been living on easy credit for the last 20 years. That's been the turbocharger of this economy, but it's not going to be the turbocharger in the future. We're going to have to find something else to drive us. And he said to me, my #1 priority would be to create an alternative energy economy, a green economy. He's never been so clear on that before.
And that interview is going to be Time Magazine this Friday.
It's in Time Magazine on Friday, yeah.
All right, that's what we call a plug. Joe Klein, thank you very much. David Gergen, thanks. Tara Wall as
Appreciate
well.
your support.
All right, up next.